Good evening, students. Today we're planning to have a lecture brief of a lecture we have covered previously. So today we're going to cover the lecture of the course Technology of Service in Restaurants and Hotels. I'm the lecturer, Dr.. So the topic of this lecture is restaurant services and serving staff. So today we're going to cover the restaurant services and talk about the structure and the staffing of a restaurant. Usually during the lectures we had the overview of the previous lectures, but today due to timing issues we're not going to cover that part of what we used to do. And after the new lecture we're going to have an assignment, so you're going to have something to do during your self-study and to cover during your practical class. So let's start our lecture, and this is the lecture of the week 10. The topic again is restaurant services and serving staff. So restaurant basically means an eatery, a business that prepares and serves foods and drinks for the customer. The term was originated in French, and it means kind of like a service that restores strength, basically a service that provides food for the strengthening and being able to perform and do what a person should do. Yeah. So the first thing we should cover is the product of the restaurant, the eatery, and the product is, usually the thing that consists of different courses. The diner, which provides full course, is a place which provides starters, appetizers, main courses, and desserts. Of course, the place can have many dishes, several appetizers, and of course a dessert, and we can have different kind of combination of these three main elements. The restaurant usually consists of several facilities like entrance, dining room, bar, kitchen, restroom, and electrical services. Bars are the spaces that are not usually kind of included into the restaurant, but some restaurants do have the bar, and that is basically space that attracts a lot of attention and kind of something that is designed to provide extra service. The restaurant management usually consists of the following structures. So we have the general manager or the owner, we have the bookkeeper or the accounting officer, and then we have the two main kind of departments that are responsible for providing and delivering the key value, the key product. So we have the kitchen, where we have the executive chef and sous chefs, and then we have the dining area or where the front house manager works. The front house manager sometimes is referred as the maître d'hôtel. Here we have the kitchen staff, like the structure. So we have the executive chef, then we have the sous chef, who is kind of the person who is just below the chef. The sous chef is usually is responsible for the whole kitchen. So in the kitchen we have the pantry chef and pantry cooks, the people who work with the cold dishes. Then we have the sauce chef, who prepares sauces, and we have the helpers, so-called kitchen hand. Then we have line cooks. We can have several cooks who prepare different dishes. Then we have pre-cooks who help them. Then we have the butcher, basically the person who deals and cuts the meat. And then, of course, we have the pastry chef, who prepares desserts and bakes things. Usually the large restaurants have the assistant pastry chef and then the helper, like the kitchen hand. What we sometimes don't know is this part, so-called chef, supervisor, cooks, and pantry workers. This kind of part of the structure of the kitchen is responsible for the preparation of the food for service. As you can see, the cooks can be found here. So the same cook who prepare food works with the chef supervisor too. And then we can have the pantry chef and pantry workers who kind of prepare the food for the delivery. Basically, they season it, they kind of make the food kind of the state of art, and then pass it to the food runner and the other people who kind of delivered that food to the dining area. Dining area stuff again can have different like structures, layouts. Here we have one very complicated one. So we have the front house manager, who usually is maître d'hôtel. Then we have like lead service, we have stewards and the housekeepers, basically the cleaners. The lead servers are like beverage providers who are managed by the beverage manager. Then we have head waiter. Sometimes head waiter is called maître d'hôtel, not the manager. So that is going to be the person who manages only the waiters. In the case of beverage manager, we can have 2 or sometimes 3 distinct departments. The first one is like the wine department, where we have head wine waiter who manages several sommeliers, so kind of wine waiters. Then we can have like the bar and like barista, like bartender and the baristas. And the bartender and baristas usually have the drink runners, the people who deliver drinks, yeah, as an order. Then we have head waiter. Head waiter again can be the maître d'hôtel who manages the waiters. And then we have the waiter, the person who takes the order and kind of makes sure that the guest is happy. And then we have food runners, the people who run between the kitchen and the dining area. Drink runners who run between the bar and basically the dining area. And that is basically it about the lead servers. Then we have stewards. Stewards are the dishwashers and the bussers. Bussers usually those people who collect the dirty dishes and kind of bring clean ones to their basically the kitchen and the other places where required. Then of course the housekeepers or cleaners. We have head cleaner and we have just the regular cleaners. Usually that is the staff who serve in the dining area. Regarding the food, yeah, we said that the full course diner can have appetizer, main course, and the dessert. And basically, then we can have the course composition, which can consist of 1 meal or up to 6 meals. Here we have different combinations. Okay, I'm not going to go through every of them, but as you can see from the 6-course meal, it is going to be more complicated to serve. So we'll need several people to serve that. And also, as you can see here, we don't have beverages. So the beverages should be served by a different person. And if we have a larger place and we have, for example, several tables that have a 6-meal course, we can imagine how many people we need in order to serve them. Here we have like the formal setting the table for formal dining. As we can see, we have a lot of cutlery, we have iron, yeah, we have a glassware, we have like chinaware, and etc. As you can see, we have like on the right side we have the diner fork and the salad fork. On the right side we have the diner knife, teaspoon, and soup spoons. Then we have the saucer usually and the cup. Usually it is not stored before the dessert, but sometimes it is. Then we have several glasses. We have water glass. Then we have 2 glasses, 1 glass for red and 1 glass for white wine, like sommeliers and the so-called cicerones. Yeah, they say that every kind of style of wine, beer, or the other kind of beverage should have and deserves its own glass. And that is why here we can see that white wine and red wine have their own glasses. Then we have dessert spoons and cake forks. Usually dessert spoon, cake fork, cup and saucer are served a bit later when the dessert is ordered and after the cleaning, but sometimes this is the way to serve. Then of course we have the plate for bread and bread knife. Yeah, of course, if we have butter and we have other things to do. When it comes to the plates, yeah, we have salad plate and the service plate that is not usually used. The casual dining is going to be way poorer, yeah. So we have the spoons, yeah, we have the knife, we have the forks, we have one plate, and we have only one wine glass. So we're not going to differentiate, give a different glass for red and for the white wine. When we have the formal dining, when we ask what kind of wine do they prefer, if they say, for example, red wine, we're going to take the glass for the white wine away. Here we're just going to pour the wine. Again, when it comes to the types of services, yeah, we have different types like table services, assisted services, self-service, single point service, and special service. The table service is basically the service that is common for the restaurant. So the guest sits and the waiter server goes around and serves it in one place. Assisted service is basically the service that can be seen in, for example, the places where you can take the food yourself, but there is going to be a person who is going to assist you. For example, in the hotels, yeah, in the mornings, breakfast are usually served in that way. So you're going to take whatever you want, yeah, for the breakfast, and then there is going to be like additional server who's going to ask if you want to have a coffee, yeah, and then he or she is going to prepare that coffee and bring it to you. So that is a type of assisted service. Self-service is when you serve yourself, yeah, and you clean after yourself. This is something that is common for the places where we just eat, for example, the canteen, the buffet, yeah, and the other places. The single point service is something that is common, for example, in the food court of a shopping mall. This is basically the type of service that is completely kind of different from the table service. In the table service, we have like the guest who sits on one place and the food comes to him. In the single point service, it is completely different. So the food is kind of stored in one place and the guest is who moves, takes and brings that food back. The special service is the service that is designed specially for the occasion. In-room service, yeah, which is provided in the hotel, is actually the type of like special service. The table service itself has different like types. Here we have several ones. Yeah, we're not going to cover them in detail. I hope you're going to read them later on. So we have English or family service, which is type of slow service. Then we have American or plate service, which is the faster like table service. Then we have French service, which is personalized and private. Then we have like Gordon service, which is like preparing food and then bringing it to you and cooking it completely in front of guests. So you're going to be able to smell and feel all the aromas. Then the silver service, it is all about serving in silver plates. So that is going to be like a show. So you're going to have a lot of silverware around. And the Russian service is basically identical to carte French service, which is part of French service. So assisted service example is the buffet service. Self-service is example is the cafeteria service. Single point service, we have food court, kiosk, takeaway, vending, yeah, machines. Then we have special service, we have grill room, tray service, trolley, garden, what we have covered, yeah, before, where the food is half prepared in the kitchen and then fully prepared in front of the guest, home delivery, lounge service, and room service, a type of special services. Here we have kind of a picture, yeah, where we can see all the types of the special service. Yeah, so trade service can be found in the airplane. Room service is basically the in-room service that is provided in the hotel. Home delivery is very common nowadays, yeah, due to the corona crisis. Grill room service is basically you sit around the place where the food is prepared in front of you. So from the raw material, from the raw ingredient until the ready food. And the garden service is when we have halfly prepared food and bring it to you and fully prepared there. And of course, the lounge service that is usually provided in the lounge, yeah, of a large business or corporate, yeah, environment. So then, of course, we are supposed to cover like sequence of services. Here we have like 22 sequences. We're not going to focus on every single of them, but usually the service starts with the greeting and ends with the farewell after the bill is paid. We can see here the word tax. Yeah, that is the word used in the hospitality industry, which refers to the number of the guests. Yeah, and the serving guest is basically taking an order, serving, cleaning, like serving, cleaning, serving, and cleaning up after that, then cleaning completely, serving the dessert, and then after the customer has consumed everything, we provide the bill. Yeah. So again, I hope you can read all the sequences, yeah, or you can pause this video and cover them later. So that is how it works. And that is basically it. And here is your assignment. So for this lecture, you have 3 assignments. The first one is to write a list of kitchen staff and describe their responsibilities. That we have covered, like we have seen the structure, but now I want you to write them and describe them. Then write a list of dining area staff, describe their responsibilities. We again have covered them, but now I want you to write about them in detail. And at the end, the last assignment is to choose a type of like table service that we have covered and mentioned before, and define it by preparing a presentation. So thank you for being part of this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Good afternoon, students. I hope you can see and hear me well. Today we're going to have a lecture brief of a lecture that we have covered previously. So let's start it. So the lecture is going to be of the course Technology of Service in Restaurants and Hotels. And I'm the lecturer, So today we're going to have a regular lecture outline. So at the beginning, we're going to have an overview of the previous lecture, because the lecture of the week 9, which is housekeeping and in-room services, is quite interrelated to the topic of the previous week, which was all about the hotels and the services of the hotel, its divisions and departments. And at the end of the lecture, I'm going to give you an assignment. So let's start an overview. So during the previous lecture, we have talked about the divisions of the hotel, and the hotel has the rooms division, food and beverages, it's about catering, engineering and maintenance, about all the facilities inside that kind of help to function the hotel, security, sales and marketing, human resources, basically HR management, finance and accounting, and basically the other divisions. Here we have the hotel management, and we have talked about the rooms division, which has the front office, housekeeping, uniform service, reservation, communication, and guest relations. So we mentioned and talked about the rooms division. We mentioned that there is like the front office, like service management, and the executive housekeeping, basically the housekeeping division. And today we're going to cover that and talk about the technology and techniques that are used in it. Also, we have mentioned about the uniform services. Basically, these are the services related to concierge, bell attendant, door attendant, parking attendant, transportation personnel, and butlers. And all these uniforms are basically cleaned, washed, and ironed by the housekeeping division of the hotel. So, yep, and of course, we have the food and beverages division, and this division consists of several subdivisions. We're going to talk about that in a separate lecture, but still, we should mention that it has kitchens here, restaurants, bar and bars, banqueting, room service, and mini bars. And room services are going to be covered during this lecture. So let's now start the lecture. Again, the topic is housekeeping and in-room service, and let's start the lecture. So what is the housekeeping? Housekeeping refers to the management of duties and course involved in the running of a household or other locations such as cleaning, cooking, home maintenance, shopping, and bill payment. As you can see from the definition, housekeeping does not exclusively refer to like maintaining an accommodation, basically maintaining a hotel, but it covers a broad and wider range of like activities. So hotel housekeeping is basically involves duties like maintaining the hotel to the best possible state in terms of cleanliness, keeping it at a highly desired ambience. So a housekeeping department is an operational department of the hotel. Basically, the hotel and the other organizations usually have different operational departments, and the housekeeping department is one of the main ones. Yep, as we know, the core product of a hotel is accommodation, and in order to make sure that accommodation is of a high quality, we have the housekeeping department. But the housekeeping department is actually a department which consists of different sub-departments and subdivisions. So here we have a listed structure of them. So basically, we usually have the executive housekeeper. If the hotel is large, we have like assistant executive housekeeper. We have like floor supervisors who act as an inspector who checks the quality of the rooms before the guest arrives. Then we have room attendants who act as housekeepers. Then we have like public area supervisors and public area attendants, those people who kind of work with the public. Then we have coordinator and houseman, those people who kind of coordinate all the works of the housekeeping department staff. Then we have line and uniform supervisors, those people who keep all the uniforms and then like ready to be used. And of course there are ironing and the other stuff. And the last subdivision is the laundry, and it has its own supervisor, it has its own attendant, and that department even can have basically the tailor who fixes and works with the uniforms, linen, and etc. So the housekeeping stuff, usually we have one executive housekeeper for 300 rooms. We can have like 2 assistants depending on the number of shifts. Usually we have morning shift and evening shift. The floor supervisor usually supervises, you have one floor supervisor per 60 rooms, basically one for evening shift and one for the night shift. The public area supervisor, usually we have one for each shift. Line again supervisor, we have one for each shift. Room attendants, usually room attendant. I mean, the person during the day can clean up to 16 rooms, and during the nights, the room attendant kind of supervise 30 rooms. Of course, it does not mean that the room attendant is going to clean like 30 rooms, but there is kind of a rule that every other room asks for some additional cleaning or additional services to be done. That is why we should think that even though during the morning shift, one room attendant cleans about 16 rooms, so the evening shift room attendant is going to clean about the same number of rooms, but is going to be responsible for 30 rooms, because we never know which room is going to kind of ask or order for an additional cleaning. Line and uniform attendants usually have two. The houseman, again, one per 60 rooms. Desk attendants, one per shift. And tailor, we may have two, but it, of course, depends on the size of the hotel. Here we have the layout of the housekeeping department, how it can look like. Here we have, for example, part where the management sits. We have like the career desk. We have like these places to store. Yeah, we have the laundry. We have the technical area, and we have the lost and found room, and etc. So basically, usually the housekeeping department looks like that. So housekeeping department, when it comes to the rooms, they have their own status codes, so they can be different. The regular one is like consists of two letters like VR, OC, OD, and VD. The first one is VR, stands for vacant ready. Yeah. Then we have like occupied clean. Then we have occupied dirty and vacant dirty. So what do they mean? They mean like vacant ready. It means that the room is clean and it is not occupied by the guest and it is ready for check-in. Occupied clean means that the room is occupied right now, but it is clean. It does not require additional cleaning. Occupied dirty means that the room needs additional cleaning, yeah, afterwards, maybe in the morning or later on. And then, of course, vacant dirty means that the room was checked out, but still it needs to be cleaned, so it is not ready for a new guest. Here we have additional status codes. For example, out of order, the room is not available. Occupied, the room has like current guest currently registered to the room. Stay over is a guest. The guest is not checked out today and will remain at least one more night. Stay over is basically the word we use in order to name a person who kind of already occupied the room. For example, at the beginning we have like the person who just checked in, and basically then until the time he or she is going to leave, we call that guest a stay over. Do not disturb as the sign that the guest does not want to clean the room. Yeah, so he does not want to room be cleaned. So basically that means that the room is occupied but dirty. So as soon as there is no sign of do not disturb, the room should be cleaned. Sleep out. A guest was booked to the room, but the bed has not been used. That can occur that the room was paid it was ordered, but nobody stays there right now. Due out, the room is expected to become vacant after the following day's checkout time. So the next day, checkout is basically the time when the keys are returned. Late checkout is basically when we know that the guest is going to check out later than the standard time. And the early check-in, basically the guest is going to check in early, so we need to prepare a room in advance. So the types of room cleaning, yeah, we have 3 types of room cleaning. The first one is like cleaning the room, like the check-in room. Basically, make sure that the vacant, dirty room is going to be vacant ready. It is all about cleaning and inspecting the room, so it is of high quality. Then we have cleaning an occupied room. It means that cleaning a room, yeah, twice per day, per, for example, the guest request and convenience. This is cleaning a room of a stay over. So occupied clean, occupied dirty is going to be the statuses that are going to be used by the housekeeping department. And the last one is the cleaning the room, the checkout room is basically cleaning the room and doing like checkout formalities. So making sure that all the like amenities and facilities that are located in the room are safe, are like ready for the next guest, and doing all this stuff too. So these are the like types of room cleaning. When it's come to the cleaning procedures, we're not going to, of course, cover all of them. We just are going to say that the cleaning procedures can be manual or mechanized. So mechanized means that you're going to use some tools or electronic equipment, and manual is kind of does not require mechanized or other electric equipment. So when we come to the cleaning, yeah, we usually have 2 people, yeah, kind of related to that. We have room attendant, basically the housekeeper, and we have the inspector, the person who like is a floor supervisor and kinds of inspects every room before the check-in. So the room attendant cleans about 16 rooms per shift, 15, 16. Of course, it may differ. And the inspector is basically a person who inspects about 60 rooms per shift. Usually the 60 room is the maximum amount of rooms that are located on one floor. Average time to clean a room, full room, after the guest depart, after the checkout, is 31.5 minutes. Average time to clean a stay over is 20.5 minutes. And when it comes to the inspector, after the cleaning and making sure that the room is ready, it usually takes 65 and 6 minutes. So when it comes to the guest room, yeah, daily average is like 7% of hotel rooms are not cleaned because the guest kind of left the do not disturb or refused sign. Like 1 in 2 and 0.12 rooms kind of ask for additional task of cleaning. Basically, that is why during the evening shift we have 1 housekeeper, like room attendant, for every 30 rooms, because 1 in 2 rooms will ask for some additional cleaning or tasks. 38% of tasks assigned are for the maintenance team, so the team is going to like fix something, and 26 and 8 of assignment tasks are assigned by the front desk team for housekeeping or maintenance. Front desk team is basically the team that sits in the front, and they are located in the lobby department. Here we have an example of standard operational procedures, basically sequences of room cleaning. I'm not going to spend much time on that, but we should mention that whenever we kind of clean a room, yeah, whenever we come and try to clean that room and we see the sign do not disturb, it does not mean that we should not clean that room that day. It means that like afternoon, when the next shift comes, we need to call the stay over and ask if that room requires cleaning, or we can come inside. Yeah. So standard operational procedures of housekeeping consists of setting the trolley. Trolley is basically a box on wheels that contains all the equipment. Yeah, we're not going to go through all the procedures. They're written here. I hope you can see them and read later on by pausing this lecture. Then, of course, we have standard operational procedures of entering the guest room. Yeah, of course, we should see for the sign "Do Not Disturb." If there is a sign, leave that room alone. Then we have to knock, say housekeeping, then wait a few seconds, go in, check if the guest is inside or not, and etc. Again, I'm not going to focus on all of them. I hope you're going to read them by pausing this lecture. Then, of course, cleaning the guest room. Yeah, here we have the procedures of cleaning. Yeah, how we start, how we clean the bathroom, the accommodation itself where the guest stays, and of course we have the bathroom cleaning, then the balcony and patio cleaning. Then again, as I said about do not disturb rooms, we have to call them back. Yeah, afternoon. Yeah, before noon we leave that room uncleaned here. So now let's talk about the room service. So room service or in-room service or in-room dining is basically the service that a guest can order from the room. It can be about food and beverages. So the in-room service is quite kind of aligned with the food and beverages department. So in-room service delivers food. Yeah, unlike delivery services, the staff provides all dishes, cutlery, and trays. Yeah, so we should remember that. Here we have standard operational procedure of in-room service. So it is about taking order, setting up tray or trolley where we're going to transport the food, delivering the order in the room, cleaning the tray, and presenting the bill. Here we should mention that bill, even though the bill is presented, yeah, we're not going to kind of ask to pay because our guest is staying inside. We just need to get the sign. Yeah, so later on when the guest checks out, we're going to charge him or her for the service. So here we have standard operational procedures of in-room service. So how to take the order, how to set up the trolley, how to deliver the order into the room, how to clean the trolley, how to present the bill, and etc. So basically that is it for this lecture. And here is the assignment. So basically the first task is to describe the process of cleaning and keeping public areas of the hotel. The second one is to prepare a flowchart of in-room service as it was shown before. Yeah, we have not covered it during this lecture, but you have seen the kind of diagram, the flowchart, which is. And the last one is find out how the housekeeping differs depending on the type of hotel and its number of stars. So as we know, 5-star hotels, they provide impeccable service. And now I'd like you to Google and see how the housekeeping service is going to differ depending on that. So basically, thank you for watching this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day and bye.